I want to welcome all of you to the My Mom, My Hero with Harrison Barnes event presented by the Ryan Foundation. We are so delighted that you could be here tonight as we honor Shirley Barnes for the sacrifices that she made and the guidance she provided raising her son, Dallas Mavericks forward Harrison Barnes. Let's give that a round of applause. And tonight we're also introducing Helping Hands for Single Moms Dallas, and this amazing organization has provided over $5 million in scholarships to hundreds of low-income single moms and college student families in Phoenix, Arizona since 2005, and now they're expanding to Dallas, and we are super excited about that. Now, as a reminder, we have a silent auction going on in the back. We've got over 20 great packages. All of the funds are going to scholarships for low-income single mom college students in Dallas. So you can bid on your smartphones, you can bid on the tablets back there in the auction area. Bidding is going to close about 7:15. Somebody keeps outbidding me on one of the packages. But that's a good thing, so please get back there and bid. And then when our program is over, we're going to open back up the Great Harrison Barnes Shootout, which is back there. You can purchase $25 cards to shoot to win 25% of the pot of money from the game, and then you have the chance to go on one-on-one with Harrison Barnes at the end of the night and also get some raffle tickets with each card to win some other great prizes, so you don't want to miss out on that. Well, we deeply, deeply appreciate the support of the Ryan Foundation, who is our presenting sponsor tonight. Ryan team, give us a little cheer. You're up here at the front, right? Let's see all of you. Yeah. We're so thankful for you, and I want to introduce you to Ian Boccaccio, the principal and practice leader of income tax in the Ryan Dallas office. We can't wait to hear from him. Please welcome Ian Boccaccio to the stage.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to a fantastic evening. I am Ian Boccaccio of Ryan. Ryan is a global firm, but our roots are really embedded here in Dallas. We were founded in Dallas. Our largest office is in Dallas. Our headquarters is in Dallas. So there's no better place for us to make an investment in such a worthwhile organization like this than here in Dallas. So thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. It's going to be incredible. I just want to share quickly my perspective, very, very quickly, my perspective on this organization. I was introduced to Chris and Ralph and Helping Hands for Moms about a year ago, and my entire life, I was always taught to make sure that children got what they needed, and that really went into my adult life, where most of, the charitable work that we had done as a family, as a firm, was for kids. And when I heard the presentation last year about Helping Hands for Single Moms, I was blown away by the ROI, the return on investment, by sponsoring moms who are working really hard, because if you can get that mom in a position to really get to the next level, all the kids in that family, think about the leverage on that. One mom, 3 kids, boom, that investment you made is going to help 3 kids instead of 1. The type of investment we're making, I think, is also really, really important. We did a lot of things like Christmas presents, or perhaps lunches for folks that didn't have enough to eat. That's fantastic. It made the day more comfortable. But the investment we're making here is in a hard-working partner, a hard-working mother that's going to go and get that degree and lift the family really to the next level in their community. The kids in that house are going to have probably more time with their mom. I know in my house, when my mother got her degree, we saw her more because she had more control over her schedule. It was incredible, the difference it made. People say many definitions of the American dream, and for me, I heard this one time and it stuck with me. This is a place where you, as a child, an American child, will likely have a better shot than anywhere else of living a better life than your parents did. And that's what really struck me about this group. It's generational change. Mothers who get their degree, education is valued in the home. The kids are likely going to get a degree. Their kids' kids are going to have a better life. Their grandkids are going to have a better life. So the donations, the investment we're making today won't just solve for the community today, it will solve for generations to come. Incredible ROI, and I'm thrilled to be part of it, as all my friends from Ryan are. So thank you for having us, and let's have a great night.
Thank you so much, Ian, and for the Ryan team. We really appreciate you guys. All right, so now I'd like to tell you about the CEO of Helping Hands for Single Moms, Chris Kaufman, who Ian mentioned. Chris has been married to his wife, Kim, for 44 years. They have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. And in 2000, after serving as a minister for 20 years, God began to direct Chris's heart into the community. And as a result, Chris was the visionary and the driving force behind the development of 2 major projects. The first was El Amor de Cristo, a 17 home Habitat for Humanity subdivision, and it was built solely by churches. And then the second project, the one that really fully captured Chris's heart, was Helping Hands for Single Moms. And since the full program launch in 2005, Helping Hands for Single Moms has provided over $5 million in scholarships and supportive services to hundreds of low-income single mom college student families. And they're currently in the process of launching the program here in Dallas, which we are super excited about tonight. So please help me welcome Chris Kaufman to tell us more.
Thank you, Hillary. We are very, very excited to be here. We're going to thank some other sponsors. You know, the worst thing about these events is how many times you have to clap, right? It's like after so many times, it's like, all right, token clap. I'm going to thank some other sponsors. I would like to just wait till I get done with the list, and then we'll do one applause for everybody. Deal? Other sponsors tonight that we really appreciate: Travelers Insurance, Ujano Advisory Group, the firm of Connor and Winters, the Myers Law Group, the University of North Texas at Dallas, of course, the Dallas Mavericks, the American Airlines Center, and Giorgio Verdi Custom-Made Suits. Let's give them all a hand. They all are part of the success tonight. And some very special people in attendance tonight. Some will be up here on the stage, but I want to make note of them. First, you'll be meeting Sid Marshall here in just a few minutes on the stage, the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. And then from our planning committee, Lynn Palmer and Debbie Olson, they have done so much work, and Delta Emerson. Well, Delta's way in the back, but Lynn, would you stand up, and Debbie? Thank you, Debbie and Lynn. They and others have put in a lot of time to bring this event to be. And of course, tonight we have the basketball team, I think both varsity and JV, looking at the numbers from the Trinity Christian High School. And then also we've got Jeremy Tipton, our DJ, and our MC, Hillary Kennedy. Let's give them all a big hand. And of course, our most important VIPs will be up on the stage in a little bit. We'll be introducing them later, but obviously Harrison and Shirley Barnes, my mom, my hero. And there's somebody else that I want to thank tonight that I always try every time I am in front of a group, and that's God. As Hillary shared earlier, I was a minister for 20 years, and in a minute I'll tell you the story of how we got started. But we really believe we're serving these women out of God's love. I think they're important to God. And I think that I've never felt, as a minister, people said, oh, you left the ministry. Not at all. It's different now. But I believe God cares about single moms and giving them a helping hand while they're going to college. And so we really thank God, because we feel this is our first year in Dallas, guys. We haven't even started our program, and here we are at the American Airlines Center. We feel very blessed. This is awesome to have you all here tonight. So let me tell you just a little about Helping Hands for Single Moms. Here's how we got started. It was the most unexpected way. I was a part of a ministerial alliance group, and we wanted to get more involved in the community, but we didn't know what to do. You know, what are the needs out there? So every minister was assigned a section of the city to go out and drive and just pray and look for whatever needs are out there. I had first gone out, my very first day, it was a warm, sunny summer morning. Yes, it is raining out there, guys, just to tell you. We'll get that out of the way. I'm noticing it myself. It's good we're in here, because it is pouring out there. But one summer morning, I prayed, and I got in my car, and I took off to see what I was in the community, what were the needs. I hadn't gone but a mile or two. And there was a little boy, probably 4 or 5 years old, and he was walking along a busy street on the sidewalk, no adult in sight. Totally forgot what I was doing because I just realized this little boy can't be out alone. Pulled alongside him, and I said, "You go down to the corner. You can't be out here alone. We're going to get you home." So I drove down to the corner, and a gal had pulled in too at the same time. She had seen him. And so we walked the little boy. He knew where he lived, and he took us to this old, dilapidated house. We knocked on the door, and a little girl, maybe 9 or 10 years old, she answered the door. And her eyes got giant. I could see what was happening. She was like shocked. And I said, "Is this your brother?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Are you supposed to be watching him?" Because she was like in shock. And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I need to talk to your mom or dad." And she said, "Only my mom lives here, and she's asleep." We put the little boy in the house. I had no idea, gang. I thought I'd be a minister the rest of my life. I had no idea what was going to happen in my life on that day, because that's where started the idea, what can we do to help single moms? And the answer was, help them go to college. And it's been a most wonderful journey, 16 years in Phoenix, helping hundreds of single moms. We just graduated our 239th mom there. And to watch them cross the... When you see a mom cross the stage and get that diploma, and she's achieved that marker in her life, that rite of passage, that time, her whole life is new now, a whole new future in front of her. And so we are so excited to be here in Dallas. And this spring, we want to have, by the end of 2019, we want to have 40 families in the program. That's our goal. And you guys can help us make it happen. By 2020, we would like to have up to 80 moms in the program. I'll tell you why. It took us a long time to get to 80 moms in Phoenix. But I've been learning since I've been here, you guys in Texas do everything bigger and faster and better, right? It's been wonderful meeting the number of people that we have met. Just real quick, board members, Team Dallas, would you stand if you're here? These are the people in the last year that have been making everything happen with Helping Hands of Single Moms. So we'll be back, and I'll just tell you real quick, we offer single moms scholarships to go to college, but we also do things like fix their cars for free, AAA towing, family outings. We go to a ton in Phoenix. We go to a ton of Phoenix Suns games, but family outings. We have a single mom college community for the moms to build relationships at. We have dental care, eye care for the moms. We have a whole slew of services to help that single mom family remain resilient while she goes to college. So Hillary, come on back up and we'll continue on.
Thank you so much, Chris. What an amazing guy. That is so inspirational. I love hearing how this got started. All right, now we're going to get to the man of the hour and the special lady that we are here to honor. Let me tell you a little bit about Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes, of course, plays forward for our Dallas Mavericks. Woo woo! And coming out of high school, Harrison was rated as the #1 player in the class of 2010 by Scout.com. In college, he played for the North Carolina Tar Heels for 2 years before being chosen as the 7th player in the NBA draft in 2012. Harrison was drafted by the Golden State Warriors, where he played for 4 seasons and won an NBA championship. And then Harrison was chosen for the NBA All-Rookie First Team and was lauded by Coach Mark Jackson, saying, "Harrison was able to defend all 5 positions on the floor." And in 2 seasons with the Dallas Mavericks, Harrison has averaged 19 points per game. Awesome. So awesome. We are lucky to have you. And then on July 29th of 2017, he married his lovely wife, the very beautiful Brittany Johnson. So congratulations on that. And though, of course, he is the star on the courts, Harrison's not the star tonight because we are here to honor Shirley Barnes. She's our star. So Harrison, come on up, introduce your mother to us. We want to hear all about your relationship and what it was like growing up with your mom. That's a sharp suit, isn't it? Looks good.
It's been a good off season. I can't quite close it. First I want to thank, Helping Hands for Single Moms. I want to thank all of these sponsors, everybody who helped put this event on tonight, but also everyone who's here. It's truly a very special honor for me to be here to honor my mom. I really don't get the opportunity to do events like this. Obviously she's given me a lot in my 26 years of life, so it's pretty cool to be up here, to be able to share a little bit of our experience and to just give you guys, hopefully just some inspiration about the sacrifice that you moms and you parents are out here making for us kids. When I was thinking about, what I was going to say, what I was going to do, for this speech, there was three things that came to mind when I was thinking about my upbringing with my mom. And it was giving, support, and sacrifice. When I was young, my mom started a nonprofit called Suited for Work Clothing Closet. The premise behind that nonprofit was that people who were unemployed could come in and get free clothing to look good for their interview process. And if they were to get the job, then they would go back and they get, a couple more outfits, just so they would look good at work for their first couple days. Now, when I heard about the idea, I was like, man, that's great, just helping out other people. I didn't realize I was free contracted labor for that. When it's fall, you have to have the fall clothing. So when people would make donations, my sister and I would have to go, and we'd have to put all these clothes on the rack, and we'd have to take the old clothes out. And then when it was winter, we had to do the same thing for spring and for summer. And we're sitting here putting in these long days, like you go to school and it's like, all right, time to switch out the spring fashion for summer. And I was wondering, why my mom did this. Because I'm looking at these clothes like, man, I could use some of these clothes. My sister could use some of these clothes. But when you really started to see the people's expression and really see her giving, even though we didn't have much, her putting other people before herself, I think that really left an impression on me. And that is why now I do a lot of charitable work. I do a lot of nonprofit work, because I saw the sacrifice and the giving mentality that she had at such an early age. The second thing I want to talk about is support. And this specifically ties into basketball, but support in general. When I was young, I loved basketball, but I wasn't very good. And my mom was relentless in supporting me to be the best basketball player I could be. She would take me to the gym. She would make my sister have to rebound. Her and my sister would rebound for me for hours in the gym. She would buy every instructional video. She would record my 7th grade games and let me watch it on the recorder afterwards. And at the time I used to get almost annoyed, because I'm like, man, my mom is just always if I'm going to the gym, she'd just be sitting in the stands watching me shoot. Every game she would be there wearing my jersey, wearing a t-shirt that maybe she designed to support the team. And I'm like, why is she always around? But as I got older, I really started to appreciate, when I started to look around, that my mom was always there. Every time I was in the gym, every game, every event that I did, she always would clear a schedule. And she was working all the time. I mean, growing up in a single parent home, as many of you know, income is low. So she was working, she was tired, but she put all that on the side to always be there to support. So whether it was a 7th grade game, whether it was a high school game, whether it was games in North Carolina, whether it was games in the NBA, my mom has watched every single game I've ever played. She sends me a text after every single game I played and gets upset when I don't get 10 rebounds. She always comes to the first game of every season since I've ever started playing, and she will always be wearing some type of gear with my number on it. And having that support, especially at a young age, really left an impression on me, that I could always be the best. I could always be who I wanted to be, because I always knew that my mom was supporting me, no matter what. Even when I was bad, I knew I had that text after the game. I know she'd give me a big hug just to let me know that I'm loved and I can be anything that I want to be. So that was huge for just the foundation of who I was. And the last thing is sacrifice. As was mentioned earlier, last summer I was able to get married to my beautiful wife, who's in the front row. And that taught me a lot, to be able to lead a marriage, to be able to be in that relationship. Marriage is tough. We haven't crossed the parenting bridge yet, but but marriage is tough. And it allowed me to see the sacrifice that my mom made to raise my sister and I. I mean, she didn't complain. There was days she was tired. I'm sure there was days she was probably wishing that she could have done this with somebody. But she gave my sister and I one of the best homes, probably the best home that we could ever imagine. We never felt that we were unloved. We never felt like we didn't have support. She always made us feel that we were the love of her life at all times. And she was always so giving, not only to us, but to those around us, and creating that community. So we never felt like we were lacking anything. So I'm truly honored to be here tonight to honor my mom, my hero, the person that helped me set the foundation for who I am with this special event. So with that, I'd like to bring up my mom, Shirley Barnes. By the way, my mom was actually the very first person who taught me how to do public speaking. So I'm very interested to see her actually put some of those lessons into practice right now. So this is an experience for both of us.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Obviously, I'm Shirley, and I am the proud mother of Harrison and Jordan Ashley. And just want to give a quick shout out to thank Chris Hoffman and Angela Meyer and Janice Parker for the wonderful welcome and reception that they gave us, me and my family, yesterday. And then just to give you guys the honor for this wonderful, wonderful program, Helping Hands for Single Moms. I think this is the one program that I think that actually gets it in terms of it's breaking the barriers for every single obstacle that a single person can have, just to empower them and to make them be self-sufficient. So I tend to talk fast. I'm going to slow down so that I can get these thoughts out. Harrison, also, thank you for that wonderful welcome. I didn't think you could remember all that. So that's good. So, as a little girl, you always think, one day I'm going to grow up to be a mom. And I always thought, in my heart, I'm going to be a great mom. But growing up in the church, part of that thought process was not that I was going to be a mom of two that was unwed, having children out of wedlock. So, 26 years old, and I'm in a situation that I got 40 weeks to prepare for this beautiful young life to come into this world. So not feeling the isolated or woe is me, I'm thinking, okay, I got a blank canvas, I can do this. I can do this. Growing up in a spirit-filled household for my children, I decided that I wanted to have certain characteristics for a son and then for a daughter. I was blessed with a son first. Obviously, I don't know how to make him be a man, but I knew that I wanted to try to surround him with positive male influences. And I knew the things that I wanted him to have is in terms of character traits, that he could be a great husband one day. Mind you, he's not born yet, but a great husband one day, and then also someone that can really contribute to society. Yeah. And I think that I end up having that. I don't know. I think I end up having that. Okay. Needless to say, being a single mother, excited and stuff as I was, it was a little challenging at first. Because I thought, well, initially I'm single and I can pay rent, a certain portion of a rent, but then bringing another mouth to feed, I need to apply for assistance with the city of Ames. So I decided to apply for assistance, but my intake person was an intern. So she gets all my information. She said, yes, you're gonna be able to qualify and you could only pay $100 a month for rent. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, great. You just need to find a space. So I had 3 months to find a house. 2 weeks before I'm ready to move into this house, the real city of Ames called me. It was like, you didn't qualify. it's not your gross income, it's your net. And I'm like, but I've already told the people moving out, I don't have a place to go. Needless to say, I'm sitting here scrubbing the place, getting it all ready so I can get my deposit back. And then I had to call the local shelter because in 2 weeks I was going to be homeless. And in 2 weeks, I was homeless. So my 3-month-old and I, we go down to the local shelter. And first time being in a shelter. Don't know what a shelter is. Apparently you need to be out certain times of the day. This shelter is infested with roaches and other homeless type people, real homeless people. I'm sorry, in my mind I'm thinking I wasn't really homeless, but I guess we were all homeless. Sharing a shower stall with a person that wants to be naked all the time. And I'm thinking, this is not what I bargained for. So I'm praying, calling the church members, we're all praying. What are we going to do here, Shirley? So then benevolence, started building a community. They were able to help me get out of that situation. And then eventually, I reduced my hours at work so then I could qualify for the Section 8 type housing. So then at that point, it's hard to find a home that's probably up to standards. So I moved to a home, and then we have bats. So I'm thinking, no, not going to happen. So then I decided to move out of that home. Long and short, I ended up actually having to go back to paying regular rent somewhere. So me paying regular rent, formula and all that, it was just not a good situation, needless to say. Harrison decides one day that he's still young, that he's going to have a fever seizure. I think they call them fibro seizures or something they call them. So we have to make an emergency hospital visit, $1,500 ambulance ride. Okay, these bills are adding up. $1,500 ambulance ride. And at that time, trying to call his father, can you just please put him on your medical? He's not picking up. And the hospital said, oh, the only thing he needs to say is yes, and then we'll approve it. And then Harrison's here, so he just didn't pick up that day, and I ended up with that nice little bill. Moving right along, we finally get situated. Then I decided I need to purchase a car so I can get him to his daycare, and I can go to work. At this time, I'm always working, and I'm not on public assistance. Just trying to work to make ends meet. There's just always car repairs. Just always something that was always hindering me. And actually, just going to bring back to this, and that's why I think this program is so wonderful for single moms, just because it's so, like I said, it's just so comprehensive. It helps with the auto. It helps with going back to school. It also helps with just discretionary money. I didn't have what we would call discretionary money. Any money that I had was like going to the next 3 bills, because I was always robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then with this new, medical or this new car payment, it was just, we were just always in sadly, a vicious cycle. Always in a vicious cycle. And then once a program started, it's called Good Neighbor, where they could help families with rent, and they could help families with utilities and this, that, and another. So I went, someone said, "So you need to go down to Good Neighbor, since you're not an assistant." So I go down there, and then I'm telling the lady my situation. I said, "But I need it today because they're going to cut off my electricity." And then she said, "Well, I don't know where you got yourself in this situation in the first place in terms of having children." I was like, my mind was like something else, but I thought, you know what? I'm just going to play this cool. I said, "Okay, just thank you very much." And then one of the local people that I had met through an organization called Movement Mountain Leadership Center, they said, "Shirley, did Good Neighbor help you?" I said, "Well, not really. The lady actually told, kind of offended me. She said, "Why'd you even have these kids?" They were like, "What?" And then the long story short is that they went and reprimanded her. And then after that, they saw that I had certain skills, very organizational skills I have. I don't know how I have them, but I have them. And then I was able to start getting jobs with those guys in terms of coming and helping them organize their offices. Actually we secured a grant, put together a self-sufficiency planner in which Harrison and Preety would know, because they spent many of days and many of nights with me at Copy Center, editing my work, just there, just there with us all the time. So that was part of then a group that I started being involved with, where we started to create like a circle of support for me and my family. People that, if my vehicle broke down, they would come and help me provide mechanical services. If if I need to be at work longer than expected, then they would take Harrison and Preeny just to have a family night at their house or something of that nature. So then I just started building my community in terms of people who had kids that had outgrown their clothing would purchase those type clothings. Let's see what else. That is, oh, so Harrison's laughing at me now because I'm off track. I'm sorry, H. But anyways, it was just always those type situations that I thought that, if I just had just a little bit more help or just a little bit more of a push or a helping hand, that, I just could always get over that hump. But then, only by the grace of God, that I was able to then form this Suited for Work clothing closet. It was nothing that was paid, it was totally volunteers, but then people just started seeing the efforts that I was putting out in the community, and then there was more help. When it was time for Harrison to get his, I think, a job he was probably 5th grade, a local farmer decided to hire him so then he could have money to do his summer track activities and his basketball. And at one point, he had maybe $1,000 saved up, which was quite a bit of money for him. And I kept thinking, okay, Harrison, if you're gonna play basketball, I'll find a way to support it, but don't use your own money. But then as I started seeing these bills come in, and he would, say, no, I'll help on that. And I was like, oh, no, you just save your money. And then toward the end of the summer, I'm like, yeah, you can start contributing a little bit here because we need this. At this point, we're looking for pennies in the car at the end of the summer, just to put gas in the car and make ends meet. But that was on me, because the thing is, he wanted to play basketball and I wanted to support that. And I was trying to do this all without being on public assistance. And, sometimes our pride gets in the way of our blessings. Maybe I should not have been so prideful. Maybe I should just take the assistance. But I didn't want to be that person that, okay, she got herself in this situation and then she wants to depend on the state to, take care of her and her family. No, I want to try to do it on my own. And I just think the Lord, just by his grace, that he brought me through in terms of when times were kind of down and things were low and I would always think of, it's a gospel song, Jesus can work it out. That was my jam every day. And I think if I sing a couple bars, my kids might just fall through the table. It was Jesus can work it out. And what was my other one? I had a couple, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's see. Character building. So, as I said, I had a blank canvas of what I wanted to be as a mother. I know, Chris, I'm probably going over it. I'm so sorry. I'm so long-winded. I'm just whacked. I'm rattling. It's just gibbling. But anyways, as a parent, I knew, like I said, I had a blank canvas, and I knew that I want these kids to be kids that that can stand like in their own truth, that, that they did not feel inferior to anyone or any of that nature. So, for Harrison and Preeny, I told them, if you can be articulate, which obviously I am not, but if you can be articulate and a strong writer, you can do anything in this world. So it was like always, you need to have direct eye contact. So when we speak with somebody, have direct eye contact because no one's, superior than you. If you see an adult, you always don't ever address the adult by their first name. Penmanship. You got to be able to have great pen. Thank you, Preeny. You got to have great penmanship. Just different small little things that, even though they seem minute, it's taken those guys a long way. What else? Some things that you guys. Oh, they couldn't say. Oh, I don't know. Harrison. Whenever someone asks you something, you always got to have an answer to it. You can never say, well, I don't know. Oh, Harrison, why did this happen? Oh, I don't know. You need to figure out why it happened, and you need to figure out in the next couple of minutes because there's no such word as I don't know, because the thing is you can't let these type things happen in life to you without knowing. I'm so sorry. I just went on a rant there. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Let's see, what else? H. What's that? Yes, Preeny. She would always have this thing, or Harrison too, But Harrison was easily directed. I had to work with Miss Praney a little bit. In terms of when you're answering someone like, oh yeah, there's no such word as that. It's yes. You just say yes, pronounce it right. I don't know. What else with Barnes is? I think the long and short is that I just wanted them to be empowered. Just be empowered. Like I said, just keep your name out of print. Just never want to see their name in print, you know, just easily to redirect it. Just great, great, great kids. So I think, obviously there's tons more in my head, it's just not coming out now, but I thank you guys so much for your time. And yeah. I was
Good evening. My name is Janice Parker, and I'm one of the board members for the Dallas chapter of this particular organization, Helping Hands for Single Moms. And we certainly wanted Harrison Barnes to come forward to stand with his mother and the daughter, as well as Sent Marshall and Chris Kaufman. Indeed, it has been a blessing and a privilege this afternoon or this evening to hear the story of Shirley Barnes and for Harrison Barnes and this family and all that has happened through them and to them. And it certainly emphasizes the need for helping hands for single moms, because we know that single moms have to go through a great deal. But we wanted to especially honor Shirley Barnes this evening for all of the things that she has walked through in raising Harrison and her daughter. And we want to give you a special award, and let me share what it says. As an organization, Helping Hands for Single Moms understands the challenges faced by the single mom. We have helped hundreds of single moms, college students who are navigating their way to a better life, just as you talked about moving your children to a better life. The purpose of the My Mom, My Hero Award is to recognize a single mom who is a role model, a mom who has shaped and stepped up in the worst of times and even in the best of times to take charge of her family and to provide them with a hope for a better tomorrow. The My Mom, My Hero Award is given to a mom who represents the values of successful single motherhood. A mom who has provided love, encouragement, a vision for her children while tackling the task of being both parents in that household. We are delighted to present to you, Shirley Barnes, this award, My Mom, My Hero, to recognize you for the journey you have been on as you have raised your children, as you have stood in the gap, as you have honored them by living and sacrifice for them. And you have a great reward in each of them because they are successful. Congratulations to you. I know they are proud of you, and we are proud of you as well. Let us give her a hand of applause.
We're going to have a panel now, and I'd like to introduce the moderator of that panel. Most of you probably know her, and that is Sent Marshall, is the newly appointed Chief Executive Officer of the Dallas Mavericks and is leading the change for a cultural transformation. Her vision is that by 2019, the Dallas Maverick organization will be setting the NBA standard for inclusion and diversity, and her immediate key focus areas include modeling a zero zero-tolerance policy for inappropriate behavior, developing a woman's agenda, institutionalizing an inclusive and supportive culture, and developing a best-in-class employee complaint process and operations infrastructure. She's the fourth of 6 children, and she grew up in Richmond, California, and lives now in the Dallas area. She and her husband, Kenneth, who I met tonight, and they have 4 adult children. So, Sid, come on up and introduce our panel to us.
Thanks, Chris. How's everybody doing? Okay, can you say go Mavs? I couldn't help myself. It is so good to be here, and I am just honored to be the honorary chair of this event. Chris, thank you for your vision. Thank you for abiding in your calling and doing what truly the Lord has called you to do. Let's give it up for Chris Kaufman. I love this event because it brings together things that I love. It brings together education, motherhood, something very important to me. It takes me back to my past. As both of you were talking, I just kind of went back. I almost started crying. I had to kind of get myself together, just thinking about how good God is and what he can bring us through. And this organization really is about using our hearts, our minds, and our hands. At the Mavs, we say we have a certain way that we do business. We are trend-setting Mavericks. We are passionate service people, and so that's why we are here. And we are champions on and off the court. And when I look at Harrison Barnes, who I actually met when I lived in North Carolina, and he was so gracious one evening with my family. And I knew then, and I said to my husband at the time, and I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said, that boy was raised right. I never met his mother, never even knew if I would meet his mother. And I said that back then, and I think it was maybe, 2010, 11, something like that. And so now to actually be able to meet you, Shirley, and we met earlier this year. And I told her, of course I have to remember her name because my daughter is Shirley. And so to meet this other amazing, amazing Shirley, congratulations on this honor tonight. Let's give it up for Shirley Barnes. And I'm going to bring up our other panelists, but I was actually trying to see if my technology worked because I had a little something. Okay, all right. I can help myself, okay? That's how I grew up, too. That's how I grew up, too. Okay, I am going to bring up our panelists. Wait a minute. Okay, now I won't stop because he's still working it out. Okay. He's still working it out. While you trying to... Okay, don't start it. Don't start it. Did you grow up like I did? You're not going to flip over one of those chairs, are you? Okay. I tell people all the time, I grew up in a Pentecostal church. Don't worry, we will get out of here before midnight. But every now and then. Okay, so I am excited to be here. I'm going to call up our panelists, and we're going to just talk about being a single mom and then this organization and what it means. I am glad to have the Dallas Mavericks here. Stand up, Dallas Mavericks. Everybody here from the Dallas Mavericks, please stand up. Please stand up, Dallas Mavericks. Okay. And Chris, you don't know this, but before I bring the panelists up, I just want to let you know, on behalf of Harrison Barnes and the Dallas Mavericks, we are going to help you get to your 80 moms by 2020. On behalf of Harrison and the whole Mavericks family, we are going to provide a contribution to you tonight for $100,000. That is on behalf of Harrison and the Mavericks and in honor of Shirley Barnes, because we see what happens when you provide a helping hand to single moms. so at this time, I would like to call up Michelle and Morgan, our other two panelists. Michelle Campuzano is a graduate of the Phoenix program. Let's give it up for Michelle. And Morgan Smith is a student currently in our Dallas program. And so I'm going to just ask, let's give it up for both of them. And we're just going to pass the microphone here. We're just going to take a few minutes to just share with our guest here just your insights on just a few of the questions that I have here. So I'm going to ask all of you this particular question. What is one thing, just one thing, you would like all of these folks to know, and especially all non-single moms, to know about single motherhood? How is it being a single parent? Who wants to start?
I'll go first. One thing I probably let everybody know is that it's hard. You have your good, you have your bad days, but just to continue to trust in yourself and know that you know what to do, and take the opportunity of being a single mother, raising kids, to see it as a growing, and you have someone to grow with and teach and learn together, and like accomplish things together. And that's one thing I love, because my son's 5, so we're gonna grow together. We're gonna learn together. I'm teaching him, he's teaching me things. So I think that's it.
Yes, he is.
One thing, is this on? Can you hear me? One thing I would say that everyone should know is it takes a village. And even if that father is not part of that village, it's still going to require a village. And just to know that when you're interacting with these families or these children, that it requires a community to stand up and be present and there for what's not there. And I think with those supports and with that village, those moms and those kids can achieve whatever they put their minds to.
Okay, so I would think first, one of the most common myths is that single mom kids are high-risk kids in terms of, they're probably not going to succeed in life, and they're probably going to be a behavior-type child, just that they're not going to have the same opportunities in life that a two-parent household would be. But then I guess, in terms of it being a myth, is that obviously, if you have good character or something, a faith-based household that, I guess in my household, my motto was Proverbs, I think 13:24, that's what we live by. Do you know what that is, H? Oh, I'm sorry, put him on the spot. Yeah, spread rod, sport a child? No. So that was, that will definitely make your children not be at risk, because they are definitely easily redirected. And then also, just the fact that single parents don't spend quality time with their children in terms of, empowering them. In our household, we had Tuesday night, family night, that I would never answer the phone calls, or we would play board games, just always involved with every little aspect of their lives. That's a myth, that we just don't have time for our kids, and we just want to put them off from someone else where, we do spend the quality time as well.
Thank you. Okay, Morgan, what is one piece of advice you would offer other single moms who might be present today? One single piece of advice.
She kind of touched on it already. It's okay, but just to make sure that you're spending time with your children, because they are watching you. And even though they might be young, when they grow up, they're going to remember. Or, they'll, just like he remembered stories about what they did when they were younger, what his mother did, as in like support and just being there for him. Just make sure that you teach your child everything that you know and more. Sorry, he's waving at me.
He's directing traffic. That's our future air traffic controller or pilot, something. Look at him. He's absolutely precious. Okay, Michelle, can you provide us an example of the significant impact that Helping Hands has had on your educational journey?
Oh, there's so many to narrow it down. Helping Hands for Single Moms was my village when my best wasn't enough. And I was willing to give my son everything I could, but sometimes everything you have isn't enough to be mom and dad and grandma and all those resources you need to raise a child. So they've provided me Christmas, they've provided me auto repair and dental work, but more than anything, they provided me with a community that walked me across that finish line. And so knowing that Dallas is gonna get that opportunity with $100,000 is so amazing, because when I walked by the Hall of Fame and saw so many people who work in my community where I'm running for school board, or in my school where I'm in leadership, and was like, I know that mom, and I watched her on Christmas when she didn't have enough, and I watched her when she didn't think she was gonna make it, and then I see their graduation photos and realize, like, that's coming here to you guys. It moved past Phoenix, and it's reaching even greater levels in different areas. So they definitely were my village when my best wasn't enough, and I don't care if you're single or in a relationship, sometimes your best isn't gonna be enough. You do, absolutely.
Okay, Michelle, what has been the most challenging part of returning to school as a single mom, and then the most rewarding?
Okay.
Okay.
Most challenging part of returning to school, and the most rewarding part, and that's for both of you. Shirley, I'm gonna have a last question for you.
I think the most challenging part was actually doing it. Coming from working a full-time job, being able to support myself and my son, and then stepping out on faith and just going for what I knew I wanted, because the job that I had, it wasn't for me. I wasn't happy, and so me being a single mother and knowing that I wanted to do better for my son and myself, it pushed me more to go back to school and do what I feel like is my purpose here on earth. So, what was the second part of the question? Sorry. Okay, so that was the challenge. The reward, I think, will be, it hasn't come yet, but I feel like it's gonna be him. Remembering everything and hopefully following in my footsteps and wanting to do more than what I've done, achieving more, having goals, and just going for it. Not giving up, not letting anything stop him, just knowing that I'm here for him as his support for whatever he wants to do, no matter what direction he goes.
I would say the most challenging was having the courage to do it when society was like, you can't do this, there's no way. The most rewarding was proving to myself that I could do it while my son got to watch.
And Shirley, as we wrap up our panel, and again, congratulations. As we wrap up our panel, let the folks out there know why we need them to really, you know, we're glad they're here, but why we really need them to support this organization even more, why we need their hands to actually help these hands.
So, obviously, excuse me, Helping Hands is going to be, is this on? Oh, I think this is better. Thank you. Helping Hands is going to just impact this community so greatly, but obviously in order for them to have an immediate impact, they need, as Cynthia said, and as Chris said, we need the hands. We need boots on the ground. We need you guys, I know people in here have many different talents that they can help provide to these families. You can be part of their village in many different ways. It does not always have to be financial. You know, there could be mechanics in this audience. There could be software developers in this audience. Just any talent that you have that the Lord has blessed you with, it's time to give these talents back and to be a vessel to this program into this community so that they can thrive, and so that people are empowered, and so that they could be self-sufficient and then move forward in terms of having a beautiful legacy for their pending families or developing families or existing families. It's just your time to call for help, and just let this be part of your ministry.
Oh, I love it. Love it. So I will just summarize it by thanking our panel, and I think you have three just great examples here that will really, really make you want to do more for this organization. If I had to sum it up, I think what you just told us, Shirley, was to give your time, your talent, and your treasure. So let's give it up for our panelists, and I'll call on Chris.
Thank you so much, ladies. Well, thank you for sharing from your lives and your experiences. And by the way, our first cohort of moms are going to be the Shirley Barnes cohort, Shirley Barnes Scholarship. And here's one of the things we do, it goes in Phoenix, it goes over really big. Every year in December, we have Holiday Happiness. So we have all the moms, we have sponsors come in. We usually have $16,000 to $17,000 worth of gifts brought in, and we have the best time. So we will do that in 2019, and we'll have Shirley come out and be a part of that with us when we give out those gifts, and you get to meet all the moms that are going to be in the cohort, thanks to the Dallas Mavericks. So I want to, tonight, we're going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. We're going to have more time with the Papa Shot and stuff later, but our program will be wrapping up. But we have a $50,000 match out there to help us raise an executive director. I've been flying back and forth from Phoenix. It's getting old. But the fact is, I can't do the job from Phoenix here. And so we'll be hiring an executive director. We have a $50,000 match out towards that. So we're going to see what we could do tonight to try to work our way toward that. And we have to have an executive director to handle these scholarships that are going to be in place next year. So there's a bunch of moms that are going to be helped next year, and we want to get there. Now, 2 ways to give tonight. On each table, there's some response forms that if you feel more comfortable making a donation on a piece of paper and turning it in on the way out, you can do it that way. If you would rather, how many have a bid card? Hold it up. If you got your bid paddle number with you? Okay. That's the other way that you can make a donation. Also, if you want to get involved with Helping Hands for Single Moms, like to apply for the board of directors or help on Team Dallas or in other ways, on those response forms, it's more than just about donations. It's about getting involved in a movement here to make a big impact on this community in helping single moms in a unique way. So we're going to get started. I'm not going to talk long. You won't have long to think about if you want to make a donation when the time comes. So we're going to I want to give you 6 reasons why I encourage you to invest in Helping Hands for Single Moms. I use the word invest because there is a return and you will be able to see it. Every year we publish the outcomes of all of our moms, how many credits they earned, where they're at in school, when they graduate, where they go to work, and what they're earning. You know exactly what your donation produced. It doesn't just disappear, into a good cause. It's invested in wonderful single moms who are making sacrifices to go to school. Number 6 reason, and each of these reasons ties into one of our giving levels. So I'll start. Our first one, we are moving families out of poverty. Now, Michelle is a graduate of our program. She told me that before she got her college degree, the most she ever made in any year was $22,000. Once you got your college degree, what did you earn as a special ed teacher, Michelle? $75,000. We're moving moms. We're a part of moving moms and their families out of poverty. I looked at our Phoenix graduates, and we only tracked their first job, but I just looked at what our Phoenix graduates last year earned as a group cumulatively, and that's only their first job. They have probably increased their wages long since then, but they earned $12 million last year. I looked at what they earned when they first came into our program cumulatively, $3 million. So they've quadrupled their earnings. So anyway, like I said, a lot of times there is money given to good causes, and they help meet immediate needs. but nothing ever changes. And the same thing, to invest in helping hands for single moms. We are helping moms who help themselves. Years ago, one of my favorite stories is I had to take a mom a check one time. We always mail checks, but her check had got lost in the mail. Her bills were due, and so she said, you know, could you bring me a check? So we drove one over. I handed her the check, and at the time I handed it to her, she goes, I just feel so embarrassed getting this handout. I said, what? You think this is a handout? I said, if you don't have your grades turned in at the end of the semester, and at least a 2.85 GPA, and at least 9 college credits completed, watch how quickly this check goes away. I said, this is not a handout. You're earning it. You're working for it, and we're proud of you. And I think she went away with her head a little bit higher because she understood that she was investing in her own self. $4,000. Anybody would say, I will donate tonight. I will invest $4,000 to help low-income single moms. And thank you so much. Thanks, Brittany. $4,000. Thanks so much, Harrison and Brittany. Who else? $4,000 to help single moms next year. That'll actually pay for us another scholarship, but $4,000. Okay, number 3. Your donation will have a powerful impact on Dallas, and I realize that it's relatively speaking, but it matters. They did a study in Arizona by College Success, Arizona, and they learned that a college graduate degree is worth $600,000 over the lifetime of the worker to the community because of the increased taxes that are paid, because of reduced government services, and just the skills that they bring and their investment in the economy from their higher wages. $600,000. Now, I've got Ryan here, so they can help me out. Guys, our first 100 graduates in Dallas, which I don't think is going to be more than 3 or 4 years down the road, how much over the lifetime of their working at $600,000 each? I know the answer. I'm just having fun with Ryan. Ryan, at $600,000 at 100 moms, $60 million impact. I'll tell you why I believe it, is we watch our moms, they graduate. We do a lot of nursing students in Phoenix. We graduate probably 15 to 20 nursing students a year. And I watch them. They walk out the door. They go buy homes. They upgrade their cars. They go on vacations. So anyway, thank you so much for that donation again and for the marshals. Let's go. Number 4. Our moms are creating a family legacy. Morgan, what are your plans for Avery? Do they include college? Yes. I guarantee you, the moms in the program, I always say this, the best mentor you can put in a kid's life is their mom as she goes to college. She's showing them the steps to success. One of our moms last year graduated as a nurse, and she sent me an email of a picture of her and her teenage daughter smiling next to a sold sign on an empty lot. She had bought a brand new home that was going to be built, and she was so proud. She was a nurse now, and she was there, and she also said, guess what? We went on a vacation for the first time ever this year. You know what? Her daughter just saw that. My mom was only making $12,000 a year, and we couldn't put 2 cents together, and we were struggling, and we just went and bought a house, and we're going on vacation, and she just got an education. They're passing on a legacy, and just like Shirley shared earlier about the importance of that legacy to your kids. $2,000 is the next level. Is there somebody here that would say, I will invest $2,000? Thank you. What bid number, ma'am? I'll tell you. Okay. Put it on Sid's bill. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that generosity. Who else? $2,000 to help invest in helping single moms. Again, Brittany, thank you so much. Harrison, that's right, Harrison, you too. she just put in for you. Thank you so much from the Barnes family. Anybody else at $2,000? Okay, let's move on to the next reason. I got ahead of myself. I just told the story. You know, the other half of the equation is this. What happens if a single mom tries college and she can't make it? Oh, she's smart enough, but she can't. They're in poverty. She's under stress. Her car's breaking down. Everything's going wrong. finals are coming due and the family's falling apart and she drops out of school. What's the message that she sends to her kids? School's not for us. I couldn't make it. And they're going to assume it's just not for our family. If she succeeds, they're going to assume this is for me. This is the way to do it. $1,000. Who's here that'll say, I will invest $1,000 tonight to help single moms in Dallas go to college? Anybody here? You just put up your bid paddle. I know you. Thank you, Brittany and Harrison, again. You guys are so great. Thank you so much. Who else out there? Okay, Janice Parker. Thank you, Janice. Appreciate that. She's one of our hard workers. Anybody else? Thank you. Greg. From the Dallas Mavericks, their Community Relations Department, VP, right? Thank you so much, Greg, for donating. Anybody else at $1,000? Okay, just a couple more. These moms deserve help. And I know that's a little redundant from something I said earlier, but I wanted to share one other story, and we're just about to wrap up on the Ask. I was talking to a mom years ago, and she had returned a call. I'd left a message for her. It was about 9 o'clock at night, and she returned a call. And as we were talking, it was about my bedtime. I go to sleep at 9 o'clock at night. And as we got near the end of the call, I was kind of wrapping it up, and I said, well, I'll let you go. I'm sure you're ready to hit the sack. She goes, no. And I said, oh. She goes, no, I start my homework at 9 o'clock. She said, I'll be doing homework till 12 or 1. That's my schedule. And I said, would you tell me about your day today? And I won't go through all the details, but from the moment she got up at 6 o'clock to get her family off to school, to go to school in the morning, to go work a job in the afternoon, to pick her kids up from the after-day care center, to take them home and make them dinner, to try to spend a little bit of time with them, it was 9 o'clock at night. She hadn't done any homework, and she was a college student. And I'll tell you, when I heard that story, I just thought, I have no idea what these women go through to get their families a better future. Who's here that would donate tonight and invest $500 to help? Okay, number 184, did I get that right? Number 184, thank you so much. Is that you, Maria? You're so far back there. Maria, thank you so much. You can just on the way out. Or you can write on the paper. Thank you, Maria Luce. Yes, ma'am. Okay, you could just fill out a form. Thank you so much. Another $500 donor. Thank you so much. Who else here that would like to invest $500 tonight to help low-income single moms? Okay, $100. We won't tell a story for that. We're going to wrap up, but you don't get a story for, no. No, it's because of time. $100. Who tonight would donate $100? Number 224. Thank you so much. Number 224. Who else at $100? Yes, sir. Thank you so much. You got a bid number? Oh, he's doing it. Thank you so much. Number 112. 112. Thank you so much, sir. Number 292. Thank you so much for your donation. Who else? Just $100 to help single moms to go along with all that we're doing tonight. Well, I want to thank you so much. There's another level. I mean, you can do $25 if you would like on that piece of paper. But I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. The Mavericks, this has been such a wonderful experience. I'm going to have Hillary come up and wrap up our stage program. But you guys are the greatest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for your donations and for being here for the Mavericks. This has been inspirational. Nobody told me to bring Kleenex for this thing. I should have stuffed some in my dress. It's been amazing. And Shirley and Michelle and Morgan, your stories, you've given me great mom advice, so I appreciate that, and your stories really touched my heart. All right, so we are going to commence with the Great Harrison Barnes Shootout. So that's going to be going on here in just a second. And then in about 15 or 20 minutes, I think we're going to be closing the silent auction. So make sure and get your bids in there. And for those of you who may not be staying, you got to get home. I just want to give one last thanks and shout out to our sponsors, the Ryan Foundation. Thank you so much. Ujano Advisors, Connor and Winters, Travelers, and the University of North Texas at Dallas. Let's give them a round of applause. We really appreciate them. And then just a side note, you can purchase the centerpieces on your table. Those are $25. You can take them to checkout if you'd like those. And then you can also purchase a Harrison Barnes autographed Papa Shot. It's $300. It is so great for your game room, your media room, any room. So tell them at checkout if you want to take that home also. So in about 15, 20 minutes, I will remind you that the silent auction is closed. You can check your smartphones to see if you won. You can check the tablets up there. And then we're also going to announce the winners of our raffle items. And then we'll announce the winner of the shootout and see the interaction between you and the winners. So that's going to be going on here in about 20 minutes. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, and go shoot out. Go have fun.